second time we're renewing passports while we are living abroad. So we've been living abroad in East Africa for over 5 years. Our family is here, part of our family is here, and both Daniel and I have needed to renew our passports. And we thought you might want to know about this experience. Hopefully we'll do it general enough so that if you're going to El Salvador, if you're going to Ecuador, if you're going to China, just general U.S. Embassy stuff that you may not think about, because I know I didn't, when you are living abroad. So that's the context here, just renewing one's passport and what that process is like. And I also want to do a tip. I don't even remember, your mother and I did a video about bureaucracy and stuff, but there's various things with Social Security and stuff like that that you got to be more intentional about. So that's what we want to talk about. We'll go through the fact that there was an online application. We'll talk about estimated ballpark costs, things we noticed about the embassy that may be apparent wherever you are. The embassy might do these kind of nice things also, what kind of equipment they had available, which I was surprised that they had some equipment that you could use because you needed to use it.
Me too.
And of course, finally getting the actual passport and how long that took, stuff like that. But we're going to fill it in, tell our story, and the focus is on the renewal. So here we go. Let's see here. So I did my passport renewal online, and you needed to also. So what was the first things that were going through your mind in terms of the online application?
The first things that were going through my mind was, I guess, just making sure I had the correct website to make sure I was in the right place. So there was a lot of, searching online to make sure, is this the correct place? Is this up to date?
Yeah.
And so
And we did backflips, double checking, triple checking that just to make sure.
We did, because there's about 2 websites, it might be 3 for where we are. And, I had to schedule an appointment, and I also had to go through the official U.S. websites to pay for the passport renewal. And so you're checking both of these things, and you want to make sure, like I said, everything is up to date, and making sure that the dates for the appointment are correct as well, since sometimes the dates are different here. They're listed differently.
Oh, yes. What he means is we're used to month, day, year. Thank you. And things where we are listed day, month, year. That's a little tricky. Oh, you know what? The passport picture. When you got the form and you started printing it out, to make sure you followed all of the instructions, where we live and all that, you also, tell them about getting your picture and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was a bit of a headache, because it's, you want to make sure your picture, like not only your face is the correct dimensions within the box that your picture will sit in, but the picture itself, like you see my fingers, I just did like a square, like that has to be the correct dimensions as well. So it's the box, and then it's your face in the picture. And so all of that was a bit of a headache. And so we were able to like get online, get on YouTube, and find like a guide to help smoothly go through this process, the website to go to that made it way easier to just upload the picture. We took it with our cell phones.
Yeah, we did our own picture. Whereas I had done mine, I went to a passport picture place, but that did that because we couldn't get it the right dimensions.
Yes.
Going from metric to imperial.
Yes.
And our friend, our local here, she basically took my picture at her place of work. That's what it was. I think it's about 2 inches by 2 inches for the box you drew with your fingers. And then the alignment of the head and shoulders has got to fit in there perfectly. You want to have these things right, and you've also got to have the lighting right.
Yes.
Your hair back or whatever, since we have locks, and you can't have something covering your face. And I think we took our glasses off. Well, I took my glasses off too, as a matter of fact. So you gotta watch out for these details. And I know, having been a federal employee, that they bother you, but these details are important because you need to have every T crossed and every I dotted. So,
So yeah, that was a bit of a process to make sure, you know, the dimensions were correct, not only within the picture, but then, like you said, getting the picture printed. So all that's got to be correct, and then make sure it fits into the application that we printed out. And so all of that was scheduled. Actually, I think we might have had to schedule the appointment twice because there was a bit of a hiccup in the web page. But we took care of that, and
oh, wait a minute. When I was doing mine, don't lose your train of thought. I think it was much smoother for you scheduling the appointment. For me, when I'm trying to schedule the appointment, I really wasn't getting a response to know that the appointment was confirmed. And so my initial visit, because it takes 2 visits if you do it this way. So my initial visit to drop off my application, I really don't have a guaranteed appointment, and that's a very precarious thing in the current state of the world. You don't want to be walking up on an embassy and guards and so forth because they're checking to see, do you have an appointment? And I was saying something they were aware of, though. Look, the system really wasn't that responsive to give me something that I could have an actual solid scheduled appointment.
a confirmation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the word. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and like he said, for me, it wasn't like that at all. I got the email saying, yes, this is correct. Here's your receipt. This is the date. All of these things are necessary, as Dad said, because you don't want to walk up on them. You must print out everything. You must print out the receipt. You must print out the appointment when you get there, because that's what they're going to ask for before you're allowed to enter the embassy. So these are all important details. Now, doing out the application, what I was filing for was a new passport and a passport card. And that came to roughly around $160. And so those 2 things.
I got those also, and about the same price. And you're doing this roughly in the 10-year time frame for passports. And you want to do it before you get down to your last 6 months.
Yes.
Because, well, for us, this may not be true of you, but imagine we're flying from one part of the country to another part of the country. And so the deal is how can I put it? You need to work that passport, and if there's an entrance statement, I guess the difficult part is we're on an island, and that island joined with the mainland. That's what the deal is, and that island still operates in a separate capacity.
Yes.
So I need the passport to get back into the island while I wait for my passport to be created, produced.
Even though they're both the same.
Even though they're both the same country, but you need to have 6 months remaining on a passport. So you don't want to wait to the last minute on anything, dealing with bureaucracy.
Absolutely. So this was very critical for me. I don't know the time frame for your renewal, but I was coming up on that 6 months in about very soon. Put it that way.
Yeah.
So I had to move fast, and I remember speaking with you about this, and you were like, "No, we got to make sure this is correct because they're gonna have to check the visa stamp, and it's got to be 6 months." And it had gone out of my brain because you're not thinking about it. So that was really important to make sure those dates were set up.
Tell the family what happened so you have the application, you have the picture, you got your picture stapled to the application, and you paid your fee online.
Yes.
We arrived on the first trip to the embassy to drop off the application.
Yes.
And the lady tells you,
she tells me that this is the right form, but it's not up to date. And so I said, "Oh, okay." And I was like, we just filled it out.
And
'Cause I
she
know
goes,
you
I
have.
know.
And I remember you saying, "No, I filled this out last year. Like this
Yeah,
is
this
like
is fresh.
this is
And
fresh."
she's like, no, it isn't updated yet or something. And she didn't like blame us or
Oh
something.
no,
Yeah.
but she was just like, "It needs to be up to date." And I knew it was up to date because you had shown me your previous application, and I could
Yeah.
already tell the current administration had made little changes to certain things that needed to be filled out.
It's
But
like, gotcha.
it is. So we had to go and reprint the application, and so it's like we got a little bit ahead. But when you enter the embassy, they take your phone, they take your watch, anything else you may have on you. You know, your wallet, you have a purse,
and especially if you have a smartwatch, that's the thing they're really looking for, because they don't want any cloak and dagger stuff going on the grounds of the U.S. Embassy at all, ever. And so that is very critical. Don't think you can walk in there with some briefcase
No.
and you just better have a manila folder and your documents, FedEx folder, whatever it is. And it's critical about the phone because the good news is they had a computer and printer there that we could use.
Yeah, so I was able to go and use the computer and the printer, and to like quickly find the form and fill it out. And this was it was important because you know, we're living in a new country. I had to make sure all of the information was filled out correctly, so I was able to look at my previous application and fill in
That was good.
some of those things. And to my eye, the application looked about 99% identical, but it wasn't up to date still. So we brought it back, and she was like, "This is correct." And now I just needed to pay for the whole process. But I said, "Oh no, I already did pay. It's I have like I got the receipt for the email." And she's like, "Do you have the receipt?" I hadn't printed out the receipt.
Yeah, oops.
For my application, and so she's like, "Okay, well, you could just use the computer and go print it out and log in." But it hit me. I don't have my phone. It's 2026, and I don't have my passwords and stuff memorized. And then it's gonna say, "Is this you logging into the phone? Please make sure." You're gonna have to do all. Y'all know the two-step verification. That's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like I have to access my phone in order to get this email. And so this lady was such a blessing. She was so nice, and she said, "You can go back out to the front and access your phone and just forward the email." And she wrote down the correct address for me to be able to do that.
Oh, okay. I missed that part. All right. Okay.
Yeah, so
I must have been watching TV on that. Okay. Watching American TV.
Oh my goodness. So yes, I was able to go out and forward the email, and that showed, the records of me paying for my passport renewal and the identification card. So she told me, yeah, when they get it, as soon as they get it, they'll hold it for 90 days, which is about like 3 months. So yeah, we went in, we did it. There was a few bumps. I didn't have the printout for the receipt, and I believe I also had to print out the application for my visit as well. Like we said earlier, you gotta have all that. So that was the process of paying for everything.
Yeah.
And now we get to.
So that was goodness.
Yeah.
But I want to insert this part because somewhere in there, looking either on my phone because I am a member of the STEP program, which is you can choose to or not to. But when you're in a country, you can register with the embassy in the country, and that way you'll get notifications for whatever it might be. This notification I received was not an emergency. It was saying that the embassy was doing outreach. And so if you wanted your passport renewed and you were in another city in Tanzania, that they would come to you. And I was like, oh my gosh, but they didn't come to us.
No.
So we still were there and had to go through all this kind of stuff. And when I made the joke earlier about I was watching American TV, What I mean is when you're on the U.S. Embassy grounds, you're in the United States of America, and
Yes.
they have things that are set up that remind you of home. And so I'm sitting there watching the regular news that I can't even get at my home in the country, but you're literally reconnected the umbilical cord back to the U.S.
Yeah, the way that they set these systems up, you were on like legal ground, like legally, you were
Yes.
in the United States.
Yes.
So that's a huge deal. So yeah, up next I got my email saying the passport has arrived.
Woo.
And I think I even got the email for my passport card like a week later.
Okay. Yeah. I think
All
so.
of this took roughly like a month, believe it or not.
Which is very quick, very good. Yeah, if that long, that long.
And again, I'm getting these confirmations for my whole process, but that wasn't the case for you.
No, there was some system wasn't really scheduling well, and so no, that yours was very efficient, very smooth.
So I'm really thankful for that. And so we were able to, schedule to make sure we got our ferry. We went over to the embassy, and I think we scheduled to get there on Monday. And so we got there, and what is it? We noticed that where you entered the embassy, there was like a little chain lock, and it's not that big; it's kind of low. We didn't think much of it, so the guy took us over to the front of the embassy, and we parked, and he kind of whipped around and parked real fast. I said, "Wow, he kind of parked easily."
I thought that was weird too.
Yeah. And so we got out. We went up to the lady who was the guard, and we were like, "Hi, we're here to get my passport renewal." And what did she say?
Maybe something about an appointment. We're just picking up.
And there's no appointment. There's no
appointment necessary for pickup. And
she said, the embassy is closed. We said closed, and I think in unison you both said holiday.
Yeah.
Memorial Day.
I didn't realize it, and she started laughing, and I started laughing. And then I turned around and realized why the driver got in the parking lot so easily, and there was nothing, because there was nothing. It looked like the Sahara Desert out there in the parking lot, and this had gone over our heads. You're
thinking, it's like, for me, it's like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and it's early, and so you're thinking, oh, nobody's here yet, but it's the embassy.
Nah, it was 9 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock.
Thank you. It was 9 o'clock. And it's the embassy, so people would be there, but it's a holiday.
Yeah, and speaking of which, you got to watch what times you're going, because the services you want may not be available on any day of the week. Because I know I've spoken to people at I know we're talking about East Africa, but I've spoken with people at the London embassy working on something totally different. So I think it was Social Security or something like that. And they only deal with certain services like Tuesday to Thursday, and it'll be like 9 to 12, and then 1 to maybe 3:30 or 4 or something like that. And so you're trying to balance all that. But what happened? I guess what we're saying to you is, if you're looking and really seriously thinking about moving abroad, it's a blast. We enjoy it. But there's things you got to be intentional about. You have to think about them. And if we were in the United States, Memorial Day would have been in front of us all over the place, right?
Exactly.
With ads on TV about sales, people talking about maybe visiting the loved ones, memorials, or military people, all this kind of stuff. But we're in another country. That's not going on. Yes, it's on my calendar on my iPhone, and I disregarded it because I really kind of disregard the holidays because they're really not appropriate. They don't really resonate away. And so we needed to now come back to the embassy the next day. So we just spent the night in a nice hotel and enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so tell them what happens when you're going to go pick up and get your stuff.
Okay, yeah. So the next day we're going. It's the appropriate time. The little lock is open, so we walked
Oh, right,
down
right, right.
to the place, and we told the guard, like, yeah, we're here to get my renew my passport. We walked in easy. He gave us the stuff, a little card that they put our stuff behind.
Oh
the
yeah,
wall.
they'll check. Remember earlier we said you can't go in with bags. Ladies can't go in with large purses.
No cell phone.
No cell phones. Absolutely no smartwatches. Well, I don't have one anyway, but no smartwatches. But they'll give you a card like a coat check, and then they'll put the stuff in a locker, so your stuff will be good.
Yeah, so we walked back there. We said hi to the people, and I just handed the lady my passport, and she looked in it and said everything was okay, and she gave me back. She gave me back that passport. She gave me my new passport and my passport card. All I had to do was sign it. I had to do a signature, and that was it. It was such a smooth, simple.
I think it was like 5 minutes or something like that. And then of course they'll punch 2 holes. I used to be a paper boy, so I call it a paper boy punch that I used to use. This was way back in the 60s anyway. And when people paid me, there's a punch thing you use, a hole punch. And but that passport the old passport now is no good, except the visa in it. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the critical thing. So because we're living abroad, and you have to have a visa in certain situations, depending on what you have set up for you. I need my visa stamp to be living in the country, and so I have to hold on to that old passport for now until I get that visa stamped in my new passport. And thankfully, we researched it. They still honor that stamp in my old passport, so I kind of got to carry 2 books.
Yeah, that was something I was concerned about, but I'm glad it did flow. So when we're going through the immigration of the country we're in East Africa to return, they are looking at his new passport to see who he is, and then looking at the old passport to see the visa stamp, and eventually he'll get a visa stamp in the new passport or something, and that'll be good. So that's how that kind of works. And I've had people tell me that before, but I like to, don't tell me something. I need to see it in writing, and you need to understand the person who has the authority to tell you this is accurate information, to tell you this is the way it's done.
Yeah, so this was, we talked through it a little fast, but this, like Dad said, it is an important thing, because when you're living in the United States, you're not thinking about it. Locals, people who live here, where we live, they're not thinking about it. You're just going about your day, but you need that visa depending on the setup. However many years you have to renew it. That is your lifeline, and so you have to be intentional. You have to be focused, and make sure. Oh, they honor it. Okay, I can breathe a sigh of relief, and everything's going to be okay.
Now there is going to be a ripple effect, and so you as an aspiring expat, you need to know that there are potential ripple effects. I don't know what they would be for you, but we will give you a real one for us, and that is we have a virtual mailbox in the United States. Why do we have a virtual mailbox? Well, we kind of cover that in videos, but real fast, what the deal is you could either have mail sent to a home you still maintain or a relative, but then you're kind of counting on your son, your brother, your sister, your auntie, your grandma, whatever, and that's not their job. And so sometimes you just want to go to the person and say, okay, they have a business and they do this. So we have a virtual mailbox, and we can have mail scanned, and we can see what's inside of an envelope. And if we want to respond to it or have it forwarded to this country, we can do that. The deal is it's based on some identifications. And one of the identifications that we use is the passport. So for me, when I renewed my passport, all of a sudden that triggered something to the United States Postal Service, which triggers something to the virtual mailbox provider that I need to then do a online notary with a Zoom call and prove I am who I am all over again, because I have a new passport number, because you get a new number when you get a new passport. This is the ripple effect of things. it is nice to live abroad. Love it. But again, you have to be intentional about things
Hmm.
that are maybe easily taken care of or not even a concern if you were still in America.
Yeah, like real quick, I forgot to mention this, but we have notes. I was able to pay for my renewal of the passport and the card online with a debit card, or any type of card you use, debit or credit. But if I hadn't, I could have paid for it at the place, but I would have needed cash,
You,
physical
USD cash,
USD. So they
not
ain't gonna take no shilling or
yeah.
whatever
They're not going to
country
take shillings,
currency.
pesos, or rupees. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're dealing then, which meant you
you would
needed
have
to
had to.
go and think in advance. If you're in Kenya, you can go up to an ATM and get USD, and maybe
Yeah.
in the country you're going to, maybe you can or can't. You got to make a special trip to the bank.
Because you're standing in the United States. They gonna want
Yes,
United States
US,
money.
yes, USD. So I think
Yeah.
I guess if someone had a question for us, type it in. Otherwise, it was quite an adventure, and so glad that we walked through that, and we were blessed that it went well. This is the second time doing that now,
Hmm.
and so that is copacetic. That is taken care of.
Yeah. So we're actually real quick. We're gonna have a workshop on Saturday. I believe that's the 30th of this month. And in that workshop, we're gonna cover things like what we talked about today when it comes to like visas and passports, and really help you on the journey for moving abroad. And so this like it's like this, but like way more on like a personal level.
Right, right. And we
With
give you,
people.
so you get a system because I don't know about you, but for us, it was a little nerve wracking and some people held our hands. And so we kept a chronicle of what went on from spreadsheets. Usually people want to ask about visas and to-do lists, or I call them Excel spreadsheets because that's what we use.
Yes.
However, you need to understand culture. You need to think about why you're moving. You need to think about your budget and how you're going to handle your finances. And so we do give you systems, and that alleviates the stress, the
Mm-hmm.
worry, because someone before you, four grown adults, are telling you what they went through. And we're also providing the experience of about 15 or 20 other expats we spoke to compile this information. So you walk away with a system feeling like, oh, I can do this thing. I can do it wherever you're going, just exiting the US.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh, since you brought that up, second thing is we do have members only.
Mhm.
Members only is a monthly subscription we have, and the cost is less than the cost of Starbucks coffee. Of course, when you drink that, it's gone in an hour or less, and whereas the monthly subscription you just got is for a month. So you're able to ask us questions. You're able to get access to videos that have more specifics and personal info
Mhm.
and more details that we may not say in a public video. Plus, I mentioned the Q&A, the questions and so forth. And you can come in, come out anytime you want. So you also have that group interaction.
Yeah, you have the group interaction, and you're going to get access to our online course, which is very
Oh,
much
yes,
like the
yes, yes.
workshop, but it's a go at your own pace,
Yeah, self-study.
self-study kind of thing. So you'll get access to that instantly when you sign up for members only. So again, we're gonna have the workshop this Saturday on the 30th. So there'll be a link in the description if you're interested in that. And members only is available right now. If you're looking at that link and you're seeing this live in the future and you're like, man, I missed it, check the link. There might be another one happening by the time you see this live, or members only will be there. So,
Oh, last thing, and then you can shut her down or whatever. We have expanded, we've been blessed to expand our services so that in select countries, we will have someone, let's say you took the workshop, you're excited about it, you've done the things to prepare yourself, and then somewhere before you're planning to do your scouting trip, what we'll do is connect you with family who are in various countries from South Africa, Kenya, Rwanda, maybe even coming to El Salvador and things like that. And there's going to be somebody to meet you at the airport. It's when we met some people recently, and Dar asked, what was it that really, I don't know, what does this mean to you? And he said, a familiar face to help me get acclimated, to help me assimilate.
Yes.
So you're not getting ripped off by the taxi fare. You know you're going to see key sites to help you decide if this is going to be your target country, because you're doing a scouting trip, not a vacation, a scouting trip.
Key.
Yeah, and so you're going to get to see, like we were in Los Angeles, we didn't know where the hospital was, and mom needed stitches in her finger because she cut it so bad, we're running around. And this is LA. But it would have been good if somebody had met us and said, okay, here's where the police station is, here's where immigration is, here's where the hospital is, here's where your better grocery store, and if you want really good fruits and vegetables, go over here, and someone to sit down in a dinner with us and we could ask them questions.
Yeah, this was real quick. This is important because when this happened with mom, there was something else that happened in the city during that time. So there was a lot of traffic. There's already traffic now. Like,
oh, that's when Nipsey Hussle had been, or
unalived.
Unalived. Yes.
Yeah. So like, there were two unplanned, two things that happened, the circumstances, and so if we had known where we needed to be, we could have got there sooner. And so that's what makes this so important, doing this like a scouting trip and having that familiar face and knowing about like key sites, things like that.
So those are the things that we have and our offerings, and we just enjoy sharing our information with you. Go ahead and track us. If you haven't subscribed, we do ask you to subscribe and like this video, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, and I believe we do have a newsletter set up again. You'll have to check the comments if you're interested, description if you're interested in it. And if you don't see it in there, maybe just leave a comment. We'll get back to you. I do see we did get a comment from Ms. Tracy Borrego saying thanks for the info. You're welcome.
Hey, Tracy.
It's always a pleasure to see you and the family. So I think that's about it for us here. Dad said, like, subscribe, share this with people who are like-minded, who want to like move abroad, and who are interested in the visa process. But that's all for us here today.
Yeah, that's it.
We'll see y'all in the next one.
Okay.